Hello Anita, welcome on Tonalité de Femme and thank you for being with us today. Anita, you were born in Switzerland, you studied in America and then were living in Hong Kong before arriving here in the Netherlands. As an international product designer, I know that you are very inspired by a wide range of material. Could you tell us something about your concerns regarding waste in the modern world?
Okay, waste is something that we don't really consider very often because we don't see where our products end up. Especially as a designer, when I was working, I was making things, designing new things that people will buy, but nobody was really very concerned about what is happening afterwards when you don't need those things anymore or when they're broken. And you just have to walk around Amsterdam and look at the pavement every morning. It's just piled with things that we're throwing away. And in our affluent consumer society, we throw away many things that actually could still have value. My concern is to really show the value of our resources in my project, because I really want people, and especially the future generation, to realize how valuable our resources are and that we need to take care of them. So with my projects, I'm trying to tell where a resource comes from. So in a very simple way, by making the object that was providing the resource, I am telling with the object, because I'm a product designer, I'm telling with the object what it was initially.
Please, could you share with us the Baba adventure? What is the message you want to communicate with these characters? What do they represent?
So the Babas are sheep because they're made out of wool. And we all know, but I think we're not really conscious about what it means, that the sheep are giving us so much wool that we can make clothes with it and they keep us warm and we can wear them. And the Babas are old woolen jumpers with stains, holes, or jumpers that people wash too hot, that nobody wants to use anymore, can't wear it anymore. Well, the people can't wear anymore. And they are retransformed. I call it reincarnation, because they are reincarnated back into sheep. The best Babas are the ones that have a personal story. They're the ones that, they are made out of a pullover or jumper or dress or a cardigan from someone that you love or that you like. So this pullover, for example, it's a friend who gave it to me, and I'm going to turn it into a Baba. But ideally, she gave me the jumper. Normally, the best would be if her husband would give me a tie that I could use for the details. See the details, they're all made with a silk tie. And then you have two elements from both parents that are becoming one Baba for the child. Their name comes from a really famous nursery song. I think I don't have to say it. I mean, most English people know it. It's called Baba Black Sheep. It's this special sheep that is black in the midst of a herd of white sheep. So it's a special sheep, and it's Baba Black Sheep have you any wool, and it has 3 bags full. And I'm telling the story that with every Baba you get a story, and this story is inspired by this song. The best Babas are the ones when you have a personal story behind, when you can really, first you have the story of the material. It comes from a sheep, it becomes a pullover, so this is the material story, this is what we're using it for, and then it becomes really, really very personal, because you transform it into something that has your own personal story.
Anita, with your Christmas tree concept, you wanted to give children a strong message about nature. You really wanted to share with them your vision, represented by this beautiful cardboard tree. First of all, when and how did you discover the story of Andersen, the Little Fir Tree?
Okay, the story, the Andersen story, I've been knowing it for a long time, but it just came back to me when I started to create this tree. And this tree is not the first one, actually. I made another one in Hong Kong. My children were smaller, and in Hong Kong especially, it just didn't make sense anymore to... I just wanted to tell my children what Christmas is about, and not meaning it's just something where you unwrap a lot of presents in front of a Christmas tree, but there's another value to Christmas, and I wanted to communicate that to my children by using the Christmas tree as a symbol, because it's a very ancient, powerful symbol of hope, survival, and rebirth, because it's the only, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, it's the only thing that is still alive or looks still alive in winter. It's the only thing that is green. That's why it's called evergreen. And that's why people started to put it in their homes in this dark winter night to give them hope, to know that springtime is coming again. And this tree is sort of a pathetic attempt to also show this rebirth, because all this material here, the cardboard, the wrapping paper, was a tree once, because we use trees to make paper, we use trees to make cardboard. So in the story about the tree, because every tree comes with a story, I explain how the tree gets cut down, how it is transformed into paper, how this paper can be used to write a letter, how this paper can be used to make a gift, how this gift gets sent around the world, and how it ends up as a tree once more. And so the first tree was more straightforward. This one I made here in Amsterdam. And because my children were older, I added another message here, which is, again, a very particular story. This tree is made out of bicycle cardboard boxes. So those bicycles came to Amsterdam, they were unwrapped, and I got the cardboard. The cardboard gets transformed into a tree, and I decorated it with lots of little cranes. They are the symbol in Asia for peace and longevity, friendship, and also hope. And I decorated it with those cranes that are made out of discarded wrapping paper. And all my friends and all the people we love and we think about at Christmas, because Christmas is also about sharing and thinking of each other, they are in those branches.
Anita, part of your projects are also represented in storybooks with handmade designs. Mm-hmm. Is this an interesting aspect of your work?
Yes, because actually I say I create things with souls. And for me, the definition of something that has a soul is when it has a story that you can talk about. When it's a soulless thing is when you don't know where it comes from, when you don't know who made it. But as soon as an object gets a story, again, I don't want to be pretentious, but as soon as you can talk about something that is, or as soon as also it gets this very personal aspect. So this is my tree or our family tree, because here are the people that we love. So this is, you would have to have another tree. So it's very personal, and that's why it becomes, it has a soul. But so every object that I make has its story. I wrote it in a very simple way so that children can understand, and so it's the tree that is coming from the forest, is transformed into paper, it's becoming stationery that you can use to write a letter to Father Christmas, is becoming a beautiful wrapping paper that is around the gift that you so dearly want, and is becoming this cardboard box that carries all our goods that are produced all over the world, in China, in India, wherever, and they are bringing those goods to us. So that's the end of the story when it becomes a tree again.
Thank you very much, Anita, and we wish you all the best for your projects.